We have Senator Ted Cruz on with us now. We have several topics we want to hit, but I have to start with this. A reporter asked him yesterday, could you please wear a mask? And here's what he said.
Would you mind putting a mask on for us?
Please put a mask.
Yeah, when I'm talking to the TV camera, I'm not going to wear a mask, and all of us have been immunized. So
It'd make us feel better.
you're welcome to step away if you like. The whole point of a vaccine, CDC guidance, is what we're following.
Yeah, good for you. Ted Cruz, welcome to the program. How are you, Ted?
Glenn, good morning. Good to be with you.
Thank you. I want to talk to you about the border. We now have confirmation that it's not only the Dallas Convention Center, but they are now storing people in Pecos, Texas, Midland, Carrizo Springs, 2 Texas military bases, plus 1,400 are going to be housed now at the San Diego Convention Center. What's happening, Ted?
It is an absolute crisis at the border, and it's getting worse and worse every day.
Go ahead.
It's the direct result of political decisions made by Joe Biden and his administration. They caused this crisis, and their political decisions continue to make it worse.
Do you think, honestly, I was talking to a farmer the other day, and when he saw what the president and his administration did with the farm relief bill and said, hey, we're going to give it to black farmers and minority farmers and not necessarily white, he said, Glenn, there's no other way for me to view that other than intentional divisiveness. He said there's nothing more divisive than that, especially for a community of farmers where everybody is helping each other. Everybody's on the same side. It doesn't matter what color you are. The same thing here. Is this just sheer incompetence? Or did they know this was going to happen and they did it anyway?
It's something worse than that, which is it's rabid partisanship that blinds them to everything else. This administration is driven by the hard left. The agenda is set by Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and AOC, and their view on the border is they support open borders. They view ICE. Kamala Harris said ICE law enforcement are the equivalent of KKK or stormtroopers. That's their view. And so Joe Biden got elected president. As soon as he gets sworn in his first week, he halted construction of the border wall. He reinstituted the failed policy of catch and release. So now when we catch an illegal immigrant, we let them go. We give them a court date sometime in the future, and we know a whole lot of them are never coming back to be seen again. And most indefensibly, he ended the Remain in Mexico policy. Now, what is the Remain in Mexico policy? It was a big foreign policy victory of the Trump administration, where President Trump negotiated with Mexico, and Mexico agreed that illegal immigrants from Central America who had applied for asylum in the United States would remain in Mexico while the cases proceeded. And it was working, and it was lowering the numbers dramatically. Yep. And the Biden administration is so ideological, they didn't care, and they've produced, we are already seeing right now, the highest number of illegal immigrants in 20 years on the southern border.
And HHS has in their custody 11,551 children, and that's just HHS. They said, Ted, you and I were down at the border years ago under Obama, and you and I both know, and I called Chuck Todd myself and said, hey, you've got to look into this. They were not interested in the, quote, cages that were holding children. Now they're not interested again. In fact, they're making the argument that this is humanitarian. This is the right thing to do to keep them in cages.
That is exactly right. For 4 years of the Trump presidency, Democrats and the media talked every day about kids in cages. Mm-hmm. What they ignored is that Barack Obama built the cages. You and I both went to those cages during the Obama administration. They utterly ignored that. And now Joe Biden is making the cages bigger, and they're more full. And I'll tell you, it is truly a catastrophe. You take a facility like the Donna facility in South Texas. The Donna facility has a capacity of 250 people. It was built to house 250 detainees. It currently has nearly 4,000.
Oh, my gosh.
that is over 1,500% in excess of its capacity. And so there's a reason why the Biden administration is trying to hide it. You know, I'm flying down to the border tonight, and I'm bringing 18 senators down to the border to see firsthand what's happening. The Biden administration is refusing to allow press to join us. Fox News wanted to embed with us. ABC News wanted to embed with us. And the Biden administration has a total press blackout. They won't allow reporters in. And Glenn, their justification is laughable on its face. They say the reason they won't allow reporters in is because reporters might have COVID. And so one cameraman, a pool cameraman, they say, nope, too big a COVID risk. We can't let the guy with the camera in. And it's because they want to hide the absolute disaster they've created.
Ted, bring your phone. Can you bring your phone in there?
I'm going to bring my phone, and we'll see what they do. I expect some fireworks because the Biden administration is desperately trying to cover this up. By the way, we went and looked. So I've been down to the border in the Trump administration. They allowed media in and cameras in. I've been down to the border in the Obama administration. They allowed media in and cameras in. By the way, George W. Bush, they allowed media and cameras in to the facilities then. Bill Clinton, they allowed media in. It is only Joe Biden that engages in this cover-up. And right now, I think too many of the press are still being docile and defenders of him while they're making arguments that are facially absurd. You want to talk about COVID-19? Glenn, I'm going to give you a stunning statistic. Of the illegal immigrants that are being released in Harlingen, Texas, they are testing positive for COVID-19 at a rate 7 times higher than the U.S. population.
And they're just releasing these people.
They're letting them go. Many of them they're not even testing. I mean, it is the reports, and I'm going to go see it tonight and tomorrow. But the reports are that the kids are packed in so tight that they're sleeping on their sides because they can't even lay down flat. And that, in the midst of a pandemic, that is the direct result of the decisions Joe Biden has made. And these kids, little boys, little girls who are being handed over to human traffickers, these guys are violent criminals. They're physically assaulting these children. They're sexually assaulting these children. And it is not humane. It is not compassionate to adopt policies that result in tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of little boys and little girls being abused by human traffickers.
Ted, I'd love to have you on tomorrow. I don't know what your plan is, but after you see the camp, we'd love to have you back on.
We'll definitely do it.